So good evening. I'll be starting my class today. In today's class, I will talk about citric acid cycle or TCA cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle, or it's also known as the Krebs cycle. As you know that the pyruvate which is formed in glycolysis, the end product of glycolysis, this sort of goes to the next level, and the next level is the citric acid cycle. So let us let us start the citric acid cycle. The citric acid cycle, it takes place in the mitochondria of the cell, and therefore this pyruvate needs to be shuttled inside the mitochondria. So let us see what happens. So as you know that the pyruvate, which is the end product of glycolysis, takes place in the cytoplasm, and this pyruvate moves to the next phase of respiration, that is the citric acid cycle or the tricarboxylic acid cycle or the Krebs cycle, and this takes place in the mitochondria of the cell. So glycolysis was something which was not dependent on oxygen, but let us briefly, if we look into the citric acid cycle, you can say that the citric acid cycle is the final common pathway for the oxidation of fuel molecules, amino acids, fatty acids, and carbohydrates. So what happens in this citric acid cycle is that this pyruvate, which is the end product of glycolysis, where glucose converted to glucose 6-phosphate. Through glycolysis, it forms pyruvate. Pyruvate can go into lactate, and then under anaerobic conditions, and in the again aerobic conditions, it's back to pyruvate again. Pyruvate enters into the mitochondria with acetyl coenzyme. It gets converted, and then it fuses with citrate, gets converted to isocitrate, that gets converted to alpha ketoglutarate, which is converted to succinyl CoA, which is converted to succinate, fumarate, malate, and then oxaloacetate. So you can see that fatty acids, after their metabolism, they also enter through acetyl coenzyme, and as well as amino acids through acetyl coenzyme, they can enter into this citric acid cycle. So the citric acid cycle is the common pathway. So they all fuse together. So this is a very interesting thing which takes place. So it's the common pathway. With this, we go to the next slide. So the names, the citric acid cycle or the tricarboxylic cycle or the Krebs cycle, it's named after the biochemist Hans Adolf Krebs. He was a biochemist born in Germany, worked in Britain. His discovery in 1937 of the Krebs cycle of chemical reaction was critical to the understanding of cell metabolism and earned him the 1953 Nobel Prize for Physiology of Medicine. So this Krebs cycle takes place in eukaryotic cells. The reaction of the citric acid cycle takes place inside the mitochondria. So if you look briefly at a sketch of a mitochondria, you have an outer mitochondrial membrane, and this red lining, this is the inner mitochondrial membrane, and in between there is this matrix. So the Krebs cycle takes place inside the matrix, this yellow shaded region, and this outer membrane is folded into finger-like projections known as cristae. Okay, so let us have an overview of the citric acid cycle. In the citric acid cycle, a 4-carbon oxaloacetate condenses with a 2-carbon acetyl unit to yield a 6-carbon citrate. So a 2-carbon acetyl unit. This is acetyl CoA unit. I will talk about what happens, how pyruvate gets converted to acetyl coenzyme later. But that part, it is not the Krebs cycle. The step in which pyruvate, which is the end product of glycolysis, is converted into acetyl coenzyme. This part It is outside the Krebs cycle. This is not considered inside the citric acid cycle, but nevertheless, it is very important step which you must remember. I will talk about this step later. I will be talking about from the acetyl coenzyme A. So the 4-carbon oxaloacetate condenses with a 2-carbon acetyl unit to yield a 6-carbon citrate. So acetyl coenzyme A, it reacts with oxaloacetate and it forms a 6-carbon compound. An isomer of citrate is oxidatively decarboxylated and a 5-carbon alpha-ketoglutarate is formed. So in the process of oxidative decarboxylation and carbon dioxide, so it was 6-carbon oxaloacetate that gets converted into 6-carbon citrate that gets converted into isocitrate. It's a isomer of citrate. So this citrate gets converted into the isocitrate, and then a process known as oxidative decarboxylation, where a carbon dioxide molecule is released. And that one carbon dioxide molecule has got 1 carbon, and because of that, this becomes C5. From C6 carbon, it becomes a 5 carbon. Another process of oxidative decarboxylation takes place, and this molecule is known as alpha-ketoglutarate, the 5-carbon molecule. It becomes a 4-carbon molecule that's known as succinate. In the process, another carbon dioxide is released, and from C6 to C5, in this release process, a NADH molecule is also released, as well as an NADH is released when it's from C5 to C4. Another NADH is released. So already you can see that there are 2 NADH molecules released. In the next step, oxaloacetate is then this C4. Then through another few steps FADH2 is released, a molecule of GTP is released, and another molecule of NADH is released. So, and the oxaloacetate, which is then regenerated from succinate. From succinate, after a series of steps, it forms back to the C4 oxaloacetate. So this C4 oxaloacetate and the C2 acetyl coenzyme again fuse and form this the 6-carbon citrate, and this cycle goes on and on till it's required. In this process, 3 NADH molecules are formed, 1 FADH2 molecule is formed, and 1 GTP molecule is formed. So the function of citric acid cycle is the harvesting of high energy electrons from acetyl coenzyme A. So the first step, citrate formed from acetyl coenzyme A and oxaloacetate. The enzyme is citrate synthase. So this is an oxaloacetate, COO and CH2CO. This is an oxaloacetate, OAA, plus acetyl coenzyme A. This is the structure of acetyl coenzyme A. With the help of this enzyme citrate synthase, they form this 6-carbon molecule citrate. The 6-carbon molecule citrate is formed. So oxaloacetate, this is 4-carbon, and this is acetyl CoA, 2-carbon, with the help of this enzyme citrate synthesis, forms a 6-carbon citrate. And water is required in this step. Hydrolysis sort of thing takes place. And from this acetyl CoA, the CoA is released outside. This CoA comes out. The next step is the step of an enzyme known as aconitase. This is a very temporary step. So a molecule of water enters inside. We had seen in the last step. So this molecule of water exits out with the help of this aconitase. And this citrate molecule which was formed in the last step, that gets converted into a temporary compound known as, after the removal of water, this pink temporary molecule known as cis-aconitate. So the water which has come out again enters and a rearrangement takes place. Here the OH was below and the H was up. This rearrangement takes place and a new molecule known as isocitrate is formed. This process is a isomerization reaction. Isomerization, as writing it short, reaction takes place. And the enzyme is aconitase. Then in the next step, another enzyme known as isocitrate dehydrogenase. In this, what happens is that this is the isocitrate molecule, which is formed over here. Enzyme is isocitrate dehydrogenase. Whenever there is a dehydrogenase involved, NAD molecule is converted into NADH plus H plus. This NADH has got high, as I mentioned in the glycolysis lecture, high reduction potential. High reduction power. High reduction power. And what is formed when NADH and so two hydrogen ions, the atoms are removed? This hydrogen and it's removed. So this is removed. And since it's removed, this one arm of oxygen becomes free and a double bond is formed here. So the compound oxalosuccinate is formed. And this is a temporary compound, and at the same time, with the help of an H plus ion, a proton from the matrix, a carbon atom is removed. This group over here, this carbon, this COO minus which was present, this is removed. And from this was 6 carbon here, this becomes a 5 carbon, a famous 5 carbon compound known as alpha ketoglutarate. This alpha ketoglutarate you will also read like oxaloacetate, alpha ketoglutarate, alpha keto acids. They are alpha keto acids. You will read more about them in protein metabolism or amino acid metabolism. Now we go to the next enzyme, which is the famous alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase complex. Whenever you talk about dehydrogenase, alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, an NAD plus molecule will become an NADH plus H plus molecule. So in this step, alpha ketoglutarate, the compound alpha ketoglutarate, With the help of a coenzyme A, it forms succinyl CoA. Remember, this was 5 carbon. Now this becomes 4 carbon, and a molecule of carbon dioxide is released. In the next step, the succinyl CoA synthetase. This is the succinyl CoA which was formed in the previous step. Takes, and this is an inorganic phosphate and GDP, and it gets converted into the famous compound succinate. And the coenzyme ASH is released, and this energy compound GTP is formed. GTP plus ADP, it forms GDP plus ATP. So eventually it gets converted into ATP. So one ATP equivalent is formed in this step. This is also known as substrate level phosphorylation. The succinate dehydrogenase complex, it converts succinate, the straight chain compound, into fumarate. In the process, these two hydrogen is removed. And what happens is that this carbon, one carbon here and one carbon, a double bond is formed here. And that is fumarate. In the process, an FAD molecule is reduced to form FADH2. So it is this hydrogen which goes and attaches over here. The next step is the step of fumarase. So fumarate, a water enters and it forms a compound like this known as malate. Fumarate. So this is the water breaks up and OH is here and H is here. So it forms the compound malate. Only the L isomer of malate is formed. The OH is on the right side. This is the chiral carbon. If you remember, this is the chiral carbon. It is attached to 4 different groups. So when the OH is on the left side, it is L isomer. If it is on the right side, it becomes the D isomer. Then malate dehydrogenase works, and malate is oxidized back to regenerate the oxaloacetate. So this is malate. Whenever dehydrogenase is there and NAD or FAD is converted, NAD becomes NADH plus H plus, and at the same time oxaloacetate is regenerated back. In the cycle, this again fuses with acetyl coenzyme A and forms citrate. So if you go to the stoichiometry is how much, what is the amount, you're talking about numbers basically. You go to the stoichiometry. So 2 carbon atoms enter the cycle in the form of acetyl coenzyme A. So this is the 2 carbon atoms, the acetyl coenzyme A, it enters the cycle. And in the end, 2 carbon atoms leave the cycle in the form of CO2. So the first carbon is here and the second carbon is here. 4 pairs of hydrogen atoms leave the cycle. I leave the cycle in 4 oxidation reactions. 3 molecules of NADH and one molecule of FAD are reduced. So the first NADH, second NADH, third NADH, and the fourth is FADH. So 4 hydrogen pairs are removed. NADH plus H plus. Therefore, always remember it's not NADH. It's 2 hydrogen ions are there. NADH plus H plus. One molecule of GTP is formed. You can see one molecule of GTP is formed. 2 molecules of water are consumed. So you see water is consumed here, one molecule of water, and there is another molecule of water here. Fumarase, they are consumed. 2.5 ATP is formed per NADH and 1.5 ATP per FADH is formed during the electron transport chain which takes place in the mitochondria. So total, therefore, if you see 9 ATP are formed. 2.5 into 3 is 7.5 plus 1.5 from FADH2, 1 FADH2, you get 9. And 1 ATP, this GTP gets converted into ATP, is directly formed in the citric acid cycle. So approximately, 9 plus 1. So you have approximately 10 ATP equivalents formed in the Krebs cycle. So this is the stoichiometry of the Krebs cycle. So what is the function of the citric acid cycle? One question comes. It is what is the integration of metabolism. So the citric acid is amphibolic, that is both catabolic and anabolic. In catabolism, it's breakdown. The cycle is involved in aerobic catabolism of carbohydrates, lipids, and amino acids. So they are broken down. Like it is broken down. And anabolic. Intermediates of the cycle are starting points for many anabolic reactions. So, for example, carbohydrates are broken down. At the same time, through gluconeogenesis, carbohydrates are also formed. So, from different byproducts in the Krebs cycle, you find different compounds being formed. That means amphibolic. So the cycle intermediates can anything. So if you look at the Krebs cycle in the previous slide, so this is the whole of the Krebs cycle. Say intermediates from outside can enter, and intermediates from like this. For example, isocitrate. Some isocitrate can be formed from other amino acids. Alpha ketoglutarate can be formed from glutamate. If you remove the NH2 group of glutamate, which is an amino acid, you can form alpha ketoglutarate. So, if suppose a person needs amino acids, they needs the amino acid glutamate. What happens? This intermediate alpha ketoglutarate gets converted into glutamate. So, intermediate is leaving the reaction. Now, for example, that person is not eating any sugar and it needs intermediates to go through glucose. So what happens is glutamate gets converted to alpha ketoglutarate, which goes throughout up to the step of citrate, and from from oxaloacetate. As you know, oxaloacetate, this compound, this is formed also from here. Phosphoenol pyruvate is formed, and from that it enters and it forms glucose. So intermediates can enter from outside and intermediates can exit to outside as the requirement of the cell is. If cell needs more proteins, then intermediates go out to make proteins. If cell needs more carbohydrates, intermediates enter into the citric acid cycle, and through gluconeogenesis, it goes back into forming glucose. So the same acetyl fat breaks down. This acetyl coenzyme A fat breaks down into acetyl coenzyme A. Fat breaks down and it enters acetyl coenzyme directly. This acetyl coenzyme directly enters into the Krebs cycle. So even if you take fat, the Krebs cycle takes place. So it is not always linked to sugar. It is linked to all sugar metabolism. It is linked to lipid metabolism. It is also linked to protein metabolism or amino acid metabolism. So therefore, it is a amphibolic. It works both sides and it is integrates all metabolism. So name one metabolic reaction which is the meeting point of carbohydrate metabolism, lipid metabolism, and amino acid metabolism, and that is Krebs cycle. That can enter. And it yields energy in the form of GTP, and it yields reducing power in the form of NADH2. Not NADH. This is the not the way to write. It is NADH plus H plus. NADH. It's a typing error. Plus H plus. But FADH2 is FADH2. That's fine. So now let us talk about regulation of the citric acid cycle. This pathway is controlled by allosteric modulator. Allosteric modulation is a type of modulation where modulation means you are regulating it positively or negatively. Positively means increases the speed, negatively means reduces the speed. So modulator means it টিলটিলেটস or পেছনে কাটি দেয় করার জন্য বা বাড়ানোর জন্য কমানোর জন্য. So what are allosteric modulators? They don't directly work on the active site. Active site is the site where the function takes place, like you had seen in glycolysis step. It's like this. So it's like an allosteric modulator. And then this allosteric modulator, it doesn't bind directly here. Say for example, I am holding this phone in my hand. So somebody can grab the phone directly from my hand and take it away. Or what can happen? Somebody, what it does, twists my hand in some other place so that I release the phone and it falls away. So this is allosteric regulation. Somebody doesn't directly snatch it from my hand. Somebody holds my hand in a different place so that the grip on the phone loser becomes weak and it falls away. So the allosteric modulation, it doesn't work directly. The next step is the covalent modification of cycle enzymes, Krebs cycle enzymes. So enzymes are directly methylated or phosphorylated and they become inactive or active. And the next is supply of coenzyme A in the pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. That is supply of acetyl coenzyme A in the pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. So less amount of acetyl coenzyme A, less Krebs cycle. When does it? When there is less acetyl coenzyme A, when the body doesn't need energy. Why should I do a Krebs cycle? I don't need energy now. A lot of energy is there in the body now. I don't need energy. I want to go to sleep now. I need less energy. So acetyl coenzyme is pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. It converts pyruvate into acetyl coenzyme A. So three enzymes have regulatory properties. First is the citrate synthesase. It is allosterically inhibited by NADH, ATP, succinyl CoA citrate feedback inhibition. So if there is lot of citrate present, why will the more acetyl coenzyme for more citrate? No more citrate. So production of citrate will stop. That means it is the Krebs cycle will stop. If there is lot of NADH, if there is NADH, why utilize Krebs cycle to make lot of NADH? There is no need to make NADH. If there is lot of ATP, why do Krebs cycle and make more ATP? So okay, it will stop. So these are the three regulatory properties. Next is isocitrate dehydrogenase. You have what happens? Same allosteric effectors. If there is citrate synthase, if there is NADH, what it does it inhibits. If there is ATP, it inhibits. Succinyl CoA, it inhibits. So Krebs cycle stops. If there is only ADP, that means you need ATP. This stimulates plus isocitrate dehydrogenase. NADH inhibits minus. So these are how it is. This is how isocitrate dehydrogenase is regulated. Alpha ketoglutarate, ATP inhibits. Succinyl coenzyme A inhibits. NADH inhibits. So this is how the acid cycle is regulated. So if you look at the whole, pyruvate 2 acetyl coenzyme A is inhibited by ATP acetyl coenzyme A and NADH. Acetyl coenzyme to citrate is inhibited by this stuff. ATP and NADH inhibits this, and ADP stimulates this region. ATP succinyl CoA and NADH, they inhibit at these steps. So these are the steps of regulation. If the question asks steps of regulation, this is what you answer. You don't write all the steps of Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle is the source of biosynthetic precursor. From citrate, you can have fatty acids and sterols made. From alpha ketoglutarate, you have glutamate, other amino acids, purines in nucleic acids made. From succinyl CoA, you have porphyrins, hemes, and chlorophylls being made. From oxaloacetate, aspartate amino acid is made. Other amino acids, purines and pyrimidines are made. Oxaloacetate gets converted into phosphoenol pyruvate, and that gets converted to glucose through the process known as gluconeogenesis. So if there is a shortage of carbohydrates, aspartate gets converted to oxaloacetate, and that makes glucose. So, or glutamate gets converted to alpha ketoglutarate, it goes to this step, and from here glucose is made. So amphibolic, things enter, things leave. So both anabolic things, it breaks down, and also from here intermediates go out and construct. So both anabolism, where construction takes place, and catabolics, where breakdown takes place, of compounds take place. So this Krebs cycle is therefore very important. So this ends my slide now. This ends Krebs cycle. Discard, I don't want to keep the annotation. So I want to go back to, so this is, anybody has got any questions? Good morning, sir. Let's see if there is any questions here. Sound disturb হচ্ছে স্যার, কিছু করার নেই, রেকর্ডিং শুনে নিও। আচ্ছা, কোনো কোয়েশ্চেন্স নেই। দেখি ইউটিউবেতে যদি কেউ কোনো কোয়েশ্চেন্স, if somebody has got questions in YouTube. Nobody has got questions in YouTube. So any questions, anybody?
Okay.
If there are questions, raise your hands. So nobody is আচ্ছা, মনিদীপ তো নো স্যার বলে দিয়েছে। Okay, fine. So I stop the session. We will meet on the next class according to routine. শেষ করছি, I will send you the record.